In Q2, I had a record-breaking 60,000 revenue month at the time. And guess what I took home? I took home $4,000. I was stressed, I was burned out, and I was trapped in an agency model that I thought was going to give me freedom. And fast forward 6 months to now, I completely rebuilt everything. I launched an AI-powered plug-and-play offer that now does a 7-figure run rate every month at a 90% profit margin. And I did it all without hiring a sales team, scaling up my legion, or burning hours in the DMs. This isn't some recycled how to scale playbook. This is a new way of building a coaching or service business using artificial intelligence, content leveraging systems that work in days, not years. And it only takes 60 days with the right execution. It all started when I got clear on who I was selling to. Most people skip this step and wonder why nothing's landing. I went through 3 years of clients and handpicked the ones that were the most profitable, the most fun, and that ultimately gave the best results. Then I listed what kept them up at night, what their business pain looked like on the surface, and then what beliefs they had to break in order for them to say yes. Once I had all that, writing the offer was relatively easy. It literally wrote itself, and I think I put this together in about 6 days as it stands. It repelled the wrong fit people while pulling in the perfect ones. But getting clearer was just the beginning. Next, I needed to build leverage using my personal brand. Now, before the 98K month and the 58K clash collected, I spent 4 years showing up online. I posted on LinkedIn every single day, and that consistency ultimately built trust. That built proof. And as of yesterday, I was ranked the #1 fourth creator in the UK for lead generation. And that was just through content alone. You don't need 70,000 followers to build authority. You just need 3 to 6 months of the right kind of content in order to do that. That's where our AI content engine comes in. And I have this trained on my own voice. I create a calendar of content ideas based on these 3 types of content: growth content, belief-breaking authority content, and direct sales posts. First, I feed it an idea, and then 30 seconds later, my post is written. Then I schedule it to go out daily, no ghostwriters, and no burnout. This is how I'm able to build trust at scale and do all of my content in under 10 minutes per day. Posting alone wasn't enough to scale. The inbound takes time to compound, and I wanted the results in my business now. So I developed a process called content-led outbound in order for us to skip this entire step of waiting for leads to show up with organic content. Here's how it works. We let content do the heavy lifting of warming up prospects. That's the likes, the comments from those lurkers. These are the people that are really your true ideal clients who will never maybe comment on a post like, hey, I want to work with you, but they've signaled their interest. This allows us to act on that interest ourselves. So I run 2 LinkedIn accounts of AI-powered SDR agents. Here's what they do every single day. Using the system, we're sending anywhere from between 25 connection requests to ideal client personas on LinkedIn. We're sending 40 personalized emails, then sending 40 spear messages to engaged followers, which is usually some sort of conversation spark like, I saw you're doing X, Y, and Z. Have you ever thought about X, Y, and Z? And it's all safe. It's all completely safe within LinkedIn limits, and it's all personalized at scale. That one system is now booking us anywhere from between an additional 20 to 30 extra calls per month, and it's roughly the same output as a 5-person sales team. The only difference here is that it's run by one person and it's done in under 30 minutes per day. But let's be real, conversations don't convert unless you know exactly how to sell in DMs, because after all, you might get somebody say, hey, I'm interested, but how do you actually take that from interested onto a Zoom? So this is where most people fall flat, and this is where AI can tee up that first message, but you ultimately need to know how to build that curiosity gap in order to move them to a call. So the key here is that I had to be able to create a gap between where that person was and where they are now and where they could be. So first I ask an open question, I show them what's possible, and then I invite them to a short Zoom triage call so we can map this out. That's it. That's all I'm asking. 2 to 3 sharp questions in order to flip them onto a call and then onto my Zoom link. Finally, when they're on that call, you need a predictable way to close. So over the last, 1,000 sales close, and I've closed over $1 million in revenue from LinkedIn over the last 3 years, what works best is often a very simple sales process. And it looks like this. Call 1 is simply Zoom triage. You're going to dig into their goals, you understand the roadblocks that have got in the way of them achieving those goals, potentially what has failed in the past, their beliefs around those problems, especially the money beliefs as well, and also risks. Now, they'll often ask for your price by the end of it, and it's really critical at that point to really bracket about at least 50% of that call to be able to walk through the money conversation and unpack, okay, what's coming up for you about the fee? Have you ever invested in something like this before? Because ultimately it's often not even about the money itself, it's about their associated beliefs about that money and what that will mean to to them in their life, or what has that history been of spending money in the first place. Call 2 of the sales process, once you qualify them as the neutral plan, you're going to show them a custom rollback based on what they told you. You remind them of the cost of doing nothing, so whatever you quantified as impact, you're going to present that to them. You show them the risk of trying the same thing again. You close them by showing how this isn't a cookie cutter solution, and this is the exact path to give them more profit and time freedom, ultimately, or more status, or health too. Those are the 4 reasons why somebody would buy. So the whole process from strategy to content to automation to sales is what has allowed me to go from that place of burnout in that agency to scaling an AI-powered coaching business that runs super lean now. It's booking calls daily on autopilot and it delivers at 90% margins. Now, I brought this offer to market in 4 weeks. I jumped on 15 sales calls, closed 16 clients and made 58k cash collected. And I didn't even do it by hustling harder. I just did it by building smarter. Now, AA-led demand generation is really the future of lean expert-led businesses. And if you want the full checklist to how to install this into your business, comment engine below in the YouTube box or on LinkedIn. And in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build, launch, and automate these campaigns so you can book sales qualified leads predictively with no sales team.